Been living with, and I live with today even, so bipolar disorder type 1 with psychotic features, and I was diagnosed with that at 17 and a half years of age. And between 17 and 19 years of age, my whole world came crumbling down, and at 19, I made my way out to the Golden Gate Bridge believing that I had to die. And listen, I didn't want to take my life. It wasn't a want or a need. I believed I had to, and those are two categorically different things. I believed I was useless, worthless, had no value, and I thought all of my family, every one of my friends, hated me and wanted me gone. If I had asked any of them how they felt about me, they would have told me otherwise, and they would have moved mountains to keep me safe from myself that day. But I buried it. I silenced my pain. And I ended up that day on September 25th, 2000, 24 years ago, going on 25 years. This will be the 25th anniversary this year, September 25th. I went to the Golden Gate Bridge determined to die. And when I got to the walkway of the bridge, a woman approached me. And here's the thing. I had made a pact with myself, much like many suicidal people do. As a matter of fact, most of them make this pact. It's an if-then pact. If one person says or does this, I will. If one person says or does this, I won't die today. My if-then was if one person says, are you okay? Is something wrong? Or can I help you? Or a variation of the three. I would tell them everything that day and beg them to save me. But I couldn't say it aloud. I needed them to reach in. I couldn't speak up first. And so the bus gets to the Golden Gate Bridge. Everybody deboards. I walk out to the walkway of the bridge. A woman approaches me with a big smile on her face and these big sunglasses, and I think she's going to ask me if I'm okay. I don't have to do this. I don't have to die today. I left the fate of my life in a complete stranger's hands, which was absolutely not fair to her. And she approached with that smile. I waited for the "Are you okay?" And instead she pulled out a digital camera and said, "Will you take my picture?" in that accent. I took her picture probably about 5 times, and she walked away. But not 20 yards off the bridge, no, she walked back across the entire 2-mile stretch of walkway that is the 9th wonder of the world, the Golden Gate Bridge, to experience all of its glorious beauty, but I was there to destroy all of mine. And so when she walked away, I said to myself, the greatest lie any of us have ever told. Absolutely no one cares. Everybody in my life cared. Every family member, every friend, my acquaintances would have been there to tear me from that rail to safety, to show me exactly how much they cared. My brain wasn't allowing me to care. My brain was trying to kill me as I desperately tried to cling to life. I never wanted to die. I believed I had to. And so when she was gone, the auditory hallucination in my head, which I had been hearing for so long now, voices in my head, not that of my conscience, telling me things I have to do that I don't want to, which is the nature of psychosis. When that happened, it said, jump now, and I did. I catapulted my hands over the rail, but the millisecond, the very moment my hands left that rail and my legs cleared it, instantaneous regret for my actions and the 100% recognition that I had just made the greatest mistake of my life and it was likely too late. And some people have asked, how too late, Kevin? Well, for 99.9% of the people in the last 90 years who have leapt off the Golden Gate Bridge, until last year, it's been too late. They're all gone. I would like to think that I get the privilege, the honor, and the gift from God to speak for them. And so I fell 220 feet, 25 stories in 4 seconds. In those 4 seconds, I prayed to God that I would live. I hit the water. When you hit that water from that height at that speed, it's like hitting a solid brick wall. You stop for less than a second. The impact, you hit it 15,000 pounds of pressure. That's like a giant African elephant standing on your chest. Who survives that? I shattered 3 vertebrae. I missed that day severing my spinal cord by 2 millimeters. 2 millimeters away from certain death. I went down 40 feet. I opened my eyes and I was drowning and I didn't want to. I frantically began moving in any direction. I was going the wrong way down. My eyes got bulged, my ears rang because of the pressure. I shot for the opposite direction of the surface as fast as my arms would take me. I got to the surface. I took a tiny gasp of air. My lungs had been impacted. I tried to yell, help, but all that came out was help me, help me. I couldn't scream. My lungs had been impacted, so I couldn't yell. Then I go down in the water, and I think, I'm going to die here. No one's coming to save me. What have I done? What did I do? I don't want to die. What a mistake. And I prayed, God, please save me. I don't want to die. I made a mistake on repeat, and I believe he heard me. At that moment, something very large and very slimy began circling beneath me. And I thought to myself, you've got to be kidding me. I didn't die jumping off the Golden Gate Bridge and a shark is going to eat me. Perfect. It turned out to be no shark at all. Witnesses would go to the Coast Guard later on and tell them that they all saw a sea lion circling beneath me, bumping me up, keeping me afloat until the Coast Guard boat arrived behind me. And it only took off when the Coast Guard boat was within distance. The creature takes off. I still think it's a nice shark. Turns out to be a sea lion. The Coast Guard fished me from the flat onto a flatboard, put me in a neck brace, and they go, hey kid, do you know what you just did? I said, yeah, I just jumped off the Golden Gate Bridge. And they said, why? I said, I don't know, I thought I had to die today. I said, son, do you understand how many people we pull out of these waters that are already gone? I said, no, and I don't want to know. And I said, young man, this year alone, has pulled out 26 dead bodies from these waters, and only one live one, you. They then said, one of the officers on the boat said, Kevin, in my entire career, I've pulled out 57 dead bodies from these waters, and still only one live one, you. And that gave me the greatest point of perspective I've ever received in my life. At that moment, I knew that no matter the pain I would ever be in again, I would never again attempt to take my life. And it's been difficult. I've been in 10 psych ward stays since 2000 and 2019 pre-pandemic, all for suicidal crisis. But in those last 7 of those 10 psych ward stays, I walked into those stays and said, I need to be here or I won't be here. I became self-aware with my mental health diagnosis. And that means that when I struggle with mania, depression, paranoia, anxiety, panic attacks, hallucinations, I tell the people around me so they can help me keep myself safe. I take a 2-pronged technique to never dying by suicide, even though I live with regular thoughts of suicide. In 24, going on 25 years, I've never attempted again with this 2-part method. I find a mirror, anywhere. I say these words, my thoughts do not have to become my actions. They can simply be my thoughts. They don't have to own, rule, or define what I do next if they're dangerous to myself or others. And the second and most important thing I do is I say to anyone near me, whether I know them from Adam or not, 4 simple but very effective words. I need help now. The difference between me and people who still die by suicide is I don't stop saying I need help now until one human being is willing to answer the call. I've stayed alive for 24 years doing that, and I've taught people all over the world how to do the same. It means a great deal. That Be Here Tomorrow slogan, I coined that phrase years ago when I did a suicide prevention PSA with influencer and YouTuber and boxer Logan Paul. He did the Be Here Tomorrow video with me that I named, and that was after his Japan incident. And on that video, I just thought it was apropos to name it Be Here Tomorrow. Like, be here tomorrow and every single day after that, no matter the pain you might be in. And in that video was seen by 33 million people in a matter of 3 days.